There can be little doubt that Luke Littler has pretty much everything you need mentally to succeed on the big stages. But today we're only going to talk about his throwing technique. As always, let's first take a look at his stance on the Aki. In order to shorten his distance to the board as much as possible, Littler uses the technique of aligning his right foot horizontally to the Aki. We already know this technique from Michael Van Gerwen from our Decoded video of his throw. For balance, Littler places his left foot parallel to his right on the tips of his toes. Now let's take a look at how the Nuke holds his dart in his hand. As you can see here, the tip of his dart is resting on the fingernail of his ring finger. His middle finger is resting on the front part of the barrel. He grips the rear part of the barrel with his index finger and thumb. It can therefore be said that Littler ultimately grips the dart with just 3 fingers and moves it forward, as the ring finger is only used to stabilize and align the tip. Now we come to the most interesting part of his technique, the throwing motion. Let's start by saying that Littler has a very uncomplicated and rhythmic throwing technique. As you can see here, he stretches his arm out completely as he pulls up the dart and then pulls it directly in front of his face. And here comes the exciting detail of his throw mentioned in the intro. Just before his arm is so far up that the flight almost touches his nose, Littler turns his wrist slightly so that the flight passes his face on the right at cheek level. Shortly afterwards, he brings his arm relatively forcefully forward towards the board. Interesting, isn't it? It is always amazing that almost every player has their own unique quirk in their throw. But it is precisely this small movement that is an important anchor point for the Nuke, as it allows him to build up a better feeling of habit with every throw and makes it easier for him to always find the same height for the release.